Well, this week at its start, one of the tier 1 credible journalists known as Sammy Mickball, that is a chief football reporter for the Daily Mail, came out and broke the story that Arsenal are really working on a deal to sign Mohamed Kudus to come in through and obviously do the needful for the side of Arsenal. And we went ahead and did that story. It amassed close to 10,000 views and people loved it, and Arsenal fans got excited because most of them thought that it was over after they signed Declan Rice, Julian Timber and Kai Havertz. But another huge story was broken by a tier 1 journalist known as Sammy Mickball, and today it has been reported by David Austin that there is a club that wants to launch a hijack for the Mohamed Kudus transfer to Arsenal, and it looks like it's really serious on this one and they want to get it over the line. I'm going to go ahead and obviously dissect it, give you my entire thoughts, and I'll be welcoming your thoughts about this transfer hijack into the comment section below. So Rokani David is my name. You can as well call me RD. Follow us on Twitter at Rokani Media FB, because most of the stories we bring up to here are not all what we tweet there. We tweet close to 100 or 200 tweets a day, and that's why I've gone ahead to decide that instead of bringing 3 stories in every episode, I've gone ahead to add the 4th story because we miss out onto very many stories to it that they get over the line. So as it stands, it's all about Mohamed Kudus and the transfer hijack being launched. Well, good evening. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? And this is the transfer news show whereby we obviously do news coming in from different sources, and we obviously relate to what they are saying and we break them down to your own understanding, and then we call in your comments. Now, another story that we're going to talk about and discuss about today is all about Cheick Doucouré. Liverpool are interested in signing Cheick Doucouré, and he's a player that they are really looking at it that they get him in. Then there is a big story coming in from Mauricio Pochettino talking about Lukaku and the current situation they are into, reported to us by Jacobs Ben. And lastly, you know him very well, Calvin Bassey from Ajax, looking like he's ready to really complete his move to join the Fulham side. So thank you guys, and this is the Rokani Media Football. Let's start it off with a story coming in from David Austin, confirming to us that exclusive, Chelsea have made contact with Ajax to express interest in signing Mohamed Kudus. Sorry about that. No offer yet, but dialogue has taken place. 22-year-old attacking midfielder among options Chelsea considering, plus agreement clause on personal terms. That is what we are getting in coming in from David Austin. Now, Chelsea are really wanting to sign a player in the names of Mohamed Kudus. Kudus is one of those players that you would rate highly when it comes to his age. He's just 22 years of age, but he's a versatile player if at all you know him. He plays as a right attacking midfielder or a right forward. He can play as a left forward, he can play as a false number 9, and he can also find himself leading the line. That is Mohamed Kudus for you. So as it stands, Mohamed Kudus is one of those players that Chelsea are really targeting to it that they really bring him at their club. And to my understanding, they're hijacking this Arsenal deal. Arsenal have been working on this deal and they're having a very good relationship with Ajax, especially after signing a player called Julian Timber from that side. They even had a chat with Ajax last summer when they wanted to sign what is the name of the guy? When they wanted to sign Lisandro Martinez, that snapped them and obviously went to Manchester United, meaning that they're having a close relationship between them and Ajax. So that is a very huge standing factor in the way of Chelsea. So the big question is, can Arsenal do this deal? Yes, they can, but do they have the cash to inject into this deal? That is it, because if there is a team that has not gone ahead to make very many sales, it's Arsenal. The sales Arsenal have gone ahead to make have secured them have secured him 27 million pounds. That is it. So 27 million pounds, Mohamed Kudus is valued for like 35 or 40 million pounds. So Arsenal needs to upgrade their level of bidding to see that they get this deal over the line. But remember, Arsenal's gonna hate to spend 210 million pounds. That is it. 210 million pounds. So after spending 210 million pounds, you don't expect them to obviously go ahead and do deals without getting players sold. For example, they're having players like Nicolas Pepe. Badly enough, the player is still injured. The other player that is up for grabs at Arsenal, Cedric Soares. There is a line or a queue of teams that are interested in him. There is Balogun, you understand. There is KNTN, who wants out. Who else? Thomas Partey, doubtful. But it looks like they're having players they can sell and raise close to 150 million pounds. Now, are Arsenal waiting for exits to go and get in players? That is really a very huge factor that is going to be determinant into the situation, as Mikel Arteta issued to us the reason as to why they have not yet called off their transfer window, as they anticipate that their exits, and those exits need to be obviously catered for in a nick of time. So as it stands for me, Chelsea are standing in a better position to get the deal of Mohamed Kudus over the line. But I remember coming here and bringing you a story that Brighton is interested in signing Mohamed Kudus, and they've gone ahead to start or initiate talks with Ajax. Chelsea want Moise Caicedo, and their other bid of 80 million pounds has been rejected by Brighton. Brighton want 100 million pounds for Moise Caicedo. That is it. So, to me, when I add these dots and plot them, Chelsea have very many players that can feature into that position of Mohamed Kudus. That is it. Nkunku can play there. Raheem Sterling can play there. Mukalo Modric can play there too. They're having very many players that can feature into those positions, But they're just trying, I think, for me to do this. It's not conclusive, but I believe they're just trying to find themselves in a position of getting Brighton on tenterhooks. That if at all you don't sell us that guy, we are going to sign this player. And I don't know why they are really needing the player, because they need a CDM. They need a CDM. I believe if you want to get the best out of Enzo Fernandez, don't play him as a CDM. Get a CDM like Moise Caicedo, play him next to him, then you are going to see how he adds more to the attack, because he's a very good player, composed. He has an eye on goal, press resistant, nice skill set. He can pull out a moment of magic in a moment you least expect it to happen. So if you play him as a CDM, you are limiting him. That is it. And secondly, if he gets injured, who plays there? Conor Gallagher, he's not a CDM. So Chelsea, if at all they are serious, and Pochettino is really serious, he either signs Moise Caicedo or not, he looks in for another CDM that fits the perfect profile of the player they really want at Chelsea. Because it's not good to go on and obviously sign Mohamed Kudus when you really miss out on like 20 million pounds on the bid that you're gonna hate to make for Moise Caicedo. Maybe they've gonna hate to pull out of the Moise Caicedo deal, and they believe that the 80 million pounds can be divided into two. Get in a CDM like Fofana from France, play him into there, or Lavia, who is rated at 45 million pounds, and use the 40 to get in Mohamed Kudus. If at all they've gonna hate to plan it that way, it work out for them well. But trust me, if they miss out on Moise Caicedo this summer, then they won't have him next summer. Why? I understand Arsenal will come big on the player, Liverpool will be there, Manchester United will be queuing for the player, and many other teams like Newcastle, because they are going to be having more money to spend in that period of time. So to me, I really understand that it's really hard. It's really hard. It's very, very hard for Chelsea, to go into this season without a CDM. And if at all I am them, I cannot even try it out to go into the season without a CDM, because it's really insanical. So that's what I think about the Mohamed Kudus hijack as planned by the Chelsea side. So to me, it all comes out to one thing. Have Chelsea decided to back out of the deal of Moise Caicedo? Because it doesn't make sense to walk out from the deal of Moise Caicedo where we are just £20 million less, and you go in and spend 40 onto Mohamed Kudus, and yet you're still registering interest in Moise Caicedo. That's out. Brighton are adamant, on their price, and Chelsea have gotten to know that it's really one of those prices they're supposed to meet if they're to sign Moise Caicedo. Now, after that, let's go into this Doucouré guy who plays for Crystal Palace. And as Fabinho is being looked out to go into the Saudi Pro League, Liverpool are trying to look out for replacements, and Crystal Palace midfielder Cheikh Doucouré is definitely a player Liverpool are looking at, and he's in the mix of potential signings. That is Neil Jones, Liverpool correspondent for Goal. He was on the Red Men TV. That is a YouTube channel for the Liverpool fans all over the world. Now, it's the biggest, by the way, now for Liverpool. When you look at Doucouré, he's a player that you always want to be in your team, especially if at all your team is obviously intensity oriented. When we talk about intensity, that's the best thing that describes Doucouré. Doucouré is a player who's gone ahead to really successfully become one of the most admired players at Crystal Palace. And when you look at how he went ahead to play last season, I'm looking for his stats in here for you. He went ahead to play how many games? He played 34 games and put up 3 assists, meaning that he's not an injury-prone player and can be available every time he's needed, and it's not going to cost them a lot of money. So he's 23 years of age, 1.8 meters tall, 73 kilograms, obviously meeting exactly what this guy of Liverpool, the manager Jurgen Klopp, really wants, and he's really a beneficiary of the departure of Fabinho and Dean Henderson. Remember, Liverpool have lost Naby Keita, they've lost James Milner, they've lost Dean Henderson. Those are 3 central midfielders, and they are going to lose Fabinho. Yesterday I brought you a story that they are in for Verratti, but we must understand that however much they're in for him, they might try to obviously look otherwise to it that they get in 2 more. However much they're looking for Verratti, they are looking for Lavia, they are looking for Cheikh Doucouré. Looks like they need 2. They no longer need 1, because they needed 1 when Fabinho and Henderson were here. So if at all Fabinho and Henderson are leaving, they might be needing 1 or 2 more to it that they get their team back to where it's supposed to be. And I've seen people coming out and obviously tipping Liverpool to return with a bang this season. I think it's really going to take them a lot of time. This saying looks like one of the common sayings that have gone ahead to be put up in the game of football, that games of football are won and lost in the midfield. And people are taking it for granted, but it's the fact. Games of football are won and lost in the midfield. That is it. Believe it or not, they are won and lost in the midfield. Liverpool are weakening. That is it. If you lose Fabinho, Dean Henderson, James Milner, which other player? Chamberlain, and Naby Keita, 5 players. All those are midfield players and have been part of the season of Liverpool. That really sends a lot of fear to me, because the way the manager went ahead to recruit is really bad. I think the most important position that would have gone ahead to look at, before signing Cody Gakpo, would have been the central midfield position. Because if I really had signed Sofian Amrabat in the January transfer window and brought him in, he would have gone ahead to get used to the team of Liverpool, and at least those 6 months would have been enough for him to cope up and really flow in the chemistry of the Gegen pressing of Jurgen Klopp. But imagine if Liverpool start a season with a midfield of Czech Dokore, Saboslai and McAllister, meaning that they are going to learn on the job. They never went with Fabinho in Germany where they're doing their preseason. They only have Soboslai and Marco and McAllister, meaning that they are going to be playing with Thiago Alcantara for the start of the season if at all they don't get in Verratti and Dokore or Lavia in time, because most of you have forgotten that today is 22nd and we are just how many days away? 9 to end this month, and how many? And I think 10 other days, meaning that we are 3 weeks away from the beginning of the season. And if we are 3 days away, 3 weeks away, that means Liverpool should get in 2 midfielders as up if they're also going to lose Fabinho. So let's wait and see how that pans out. But it looks like it's one of those things that have gone ahead to obviously make news today. And then we go to Mauricio Pochettino on Romelu Lukaku. Nothing has changed. It's the same situation. It's not affecting us. We have the players that we have, and we are so happy with their attitude and the way they are working. That is Mauricio Pochettino. Now, Pochettino came out and said Lukaku is wanted back at Chelsea. Lukaku reported on Monday, to London, and he's needed by Pochettino. But we all know that Juventus have gone ahead to make a bid of close to 40 million euros for Lukaku, and they anticipate that this deal is going to be accepted. That's why Inter Milan really felt betrayed and pulled out of the deal, and they went in for either Skamaka or Florent Balogun for starters. So when you look at Lukaku and his manager at Chelsea right now, looks like they're not going to work well together. And Pochettino is asserting his powers onto Lukaku, and obviously to tame what we call his ego. But Lukaku wants out to go ahead and really play in the Italian Serie A. So let's wait and see how that pans out. But the situation hasn't changed, as confirmed to us by the manager. And lastly, the 23-year-old Nigerian international, that is Bassi, is in the verge of obviously signing for Fulham. And David Austin has confirmed to us that Fulham have reached an agreement with Ajax for centre-back Calvin Bassi. Club-to-club deal now in place for fee in region of 21 million euros plus sell on, subject to personal terms being agreed. 23-year-old Nigerian international can undergo medical and complete the move. That is Bassi. Yeah, I know, fast defender, but I saw him really do some huge mistakes in the African Cup of Nations. But I understand, if you're a player like him, you just learn on the job. He has come to the Premier League, very much competitive. Fulham have gone ahead to take him on, and he's really going to be playing in one of those teams that finish in the first half of the table. But I don't know who is signing him, because Marco Silva is being persuaded by the Saudi Pro League team to go obviously and really coach them. They're offering him close to 50 million euros a deal per year. So I don't know who is really signing him, and him coming in through will really be so much dependent on who the manager is. Because if Marco Silva is going to sign him now, and the next 2 months is going to be out of the team, then the new manager that's going to be given the veto powers to coach the Fulham team won't be in the perfect mode, maybe to like you. We've seen managers, managers phase out players like that. A manager comes in through and hasn't really liked a player. Henrik Mkhitaryan was one of the best players at Man United. Mourinho came in through and really threw him under the bus. Anton Martial was one of the best players before Mourinho came in through. When Mourinho came in through, he threw him under the bus. So, it's obviously a repetitive cycle that managers have gone ahead to obviously act like that. But let's wait and see how that happens. Now I'm waiting for your reaction to the comment section below about Mohamed Kudus transfer hijack. That is it by Chelsea. I welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about Lukaku and Pochettino? What do you make about Liverpool's interest in Czech, Dokore? And lastly, what do you make about Bassi joining Fulham? Deal pending medical. I go by the names of Rokani David. I sign out for now. See you later. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. And may the living true God protect you abundantly. And to my Muslim viewers and subscribers, Barak Laufiku. Ciao, ciao.